Ah, yes. Welcome to the Kentucky X-Files, Season 4. Young Masters, Dennis Mays, Josh Gibbs, and Tyler Stewart are expecting you. If you will, follow me to the fire, and on your way, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, visit us at www.kyxfiles.com. I now leave you to the young masters.
But then I was like,
I moved my microphone.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Welcome back, guys, to your Kentucky X-Files. Hish. What about schwa?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, we forgot. We need the applause.
Oh yeah. Damn. I don't think they have that, do they?
Yeah, they don't. We've been
Yeah, they don't got that.
fucking StreamYard like cut my legs off there. I buy that fucking the podcast thing and it'd be like StreamYard's like, we got you, man. You don't need that anymore. I'm like, fuck.
Are you talking about the?
Yeah, the Roadcaster. Yeah.
It's been sitting there just looking pretty.
Yeah.
We'll use it.
I guess
We'll use it. Like if we can actually do a campfire episode this season.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Always a use for it, but I just thought it's like sucked that we just turned around and used this. It's like shit.
This is
thanks StreamYard.
It's just so convenient. Like we don't actually have to get together, and that saves hours. Like I would venture to say that this saves like 5 to 6 hours an episode by being able to do it this way. Wouldn't you, Denny?
Probably.
Yeah,
I mean, you think about it. As soon as we get together, first thing we're going to do is just like we did today. We fucking bullshitted for 20, 25 minutes.
No, easy. Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, crap, we should start. Because we're already talking about the shit we're going to talk about. And Denny's like, we need to hit record.
The only difference being in person is usually it's like a couple of hours of bullshitting first.
Yeah, exactly.
Beers come out, and then we're talking about stuff that could never be shown.
Yeah.
Or heard by you guys out there.
Then we also have to talk off the beer because, you guys have to drive home eventually,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's at least 5 to 6 hours more an episode to do it in person than it is to just hop on a Sunday morning and sit in front of the computer for, 2 hours.
You want to know something too? Like how professional we are now? We have not had one of those types of episodes since then. We had one and we were done. We have a episode that has not seen the light of day.
Never will.
And never will. Maybe.
I want to believe. I really do want to believe that it's our ethic that stopped that from happening.
Yeah,
but it's most likely just because it's StreamYard. I was pretty toasted on the finale though. The finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is right. But that's a celebration. That's a celebration.
I was celebrating like crazy.
Yeah.
God. So somebody came up to me and said, like, hey, you never put the other parts of the live finale out. And I'm like, what live finale? And then it came back to me and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't. So I'm gonna have to stick that up there. I'm gonna have to throw that up. It was divided into like 3 parts because it was like 4 hours long. I did
Oh.
part 1, and then we went on our month-long hiatus, and I completely.
Oh, so like the whole thing where there's like 8 people in the thing never made it to the light of day.
Nope.
I'm a bad listener. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's like if you go to the YouTube, you can go to the live
Shit.
and you can click on it and you can watch the rest of that. But
Okay, so yeah, I thought I saw that. I watched the live, or at least part of it.
Yeah, I watched the live. Oh shit.
I just
I
I
didn't-
forgot to put out the other like parts to it.
I think I need to go to subscribe to our channel so I
Yeah.
get notifications.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
but,
Oh, man. If you subscribe, is that going to put us over the edge? Tyler, are you the 2000th subscriber?
Are we even at that right now?
we
I haven't
were
even looked
close
at.
last time I looked. I don't know.
Whoa, yeah. 1.999. Wow, we about hit it.
Did you just subscribe?
You really put me on the spot here. You kind of destroyed my joke. I was already subscribed.
Oh,
So now the viewers, I'm a liar now. I'm pegged as a liar now.
you
Thank
could have
you.
just keep running with it.
I should have, but I felt like that would be cap. Yep.
No,
We're getting with the times.
no, we're not. Yeah, so we're sitting at 1.99K. Like we're almost to 2,000 subs.
There's got to be some motherfucker listening to this that's like, I'll go fucking subscribe. I'll put him to 2,000. I'll be number 2,000.
We need it. Somebody needs to jump on there. One of you
Yeah.
listeners that's not subscribed, or one of you listeners that are listening on one of the other platforms, jump over to YouTube and help us out.
Just subscribe, will you?
Because
Come
it's
on.
all odd numbers, and I can't stand the fact that it's all odd numbers. You know,
Yeah. It is funny. Like it seems like podcasting doesn't translate very well to YouTube.
No.
It doesn't get the, what do you call it?
unless you're Joe Rogan.
We got to get over there and be like top 10 things that you don't want to say on your podcast.
Oh yeah.
And then people, because they'll pour in for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to be a list channel. We got to list and react. So what we got to do is we got to play a video that you can barely see because of our big dumb faces in the way.
Yeah.
I hate that. I really do. I hate that. Like if I'm watching something, if I'm flipping through reels or shorts or something, and all of a sudden I see like a video I'm interested in, but somebody's like cropped out dumb face right in front of it. Like I don't need to see your facial expressions. If I want to know what somebody's facial reaction is, I'll look into the mirror while I'm watching it.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't care what you think about it. I don't. Why do you? And that's just lazy work. You know, that's creating content by just going over somebody else's work.
I feel like somebody like it's a thing. Like people like it because
Oh, they do for sure,
dude. There's so many React channels.
I know.
don't know how many. I don't know how many of the like people that are into like hip hop and rap that don't listen to metal music. Those are like huge.
Dude, okay,
Because-
so let's talk about that for a second. All right. I seen one the other day that it was so and so reacts, and it's the first time they ever heard Queen. You lying motherfucker. That doesn't it's 2024. You've heard Queen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
You can't not hear them at this point.
right.
You know,
Like
as soon as someone says Queen, there's like 4 riffs that just instantly go through my head.
And plus, like that's the same thing with like movies. Like, dude, Queen has been in movies.
there was a movie about Queen.
Oh well, yeah, that. But they've used their music throughout like cinema.
Yeah. And they've been on every rock station of any kind ever. They've been on current rock stations, classic rock stations, oldies rock stations. You know,
Yeah.
they've been all over the background of YouTube, all over the background of movies and TV shows. You know,
Yeah.
They're at every fucking sporting event.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Boom, boom.
yeah. You
Yeah.
don't tell me that you're reacting to the first time you've ever heard Queen. That come off that shit.
We
Yeah.
are
You
know,
champions, man.
Like if you wanted to be like, this is the first time I've heard Strawberry Alarm Clock
Yeah.
or Gigi Allen, you know, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll buy that.
I
Fucking
don't
Queen.
want anybody to listen to
Bicycle.
Gigi Allen.
Bicycle.
Right.
Queen wrote a song about he wrote a song about his bicycle.
Right.
Who writes a song about their bicycle? I want to ride my bike.
And Freddie Mercury wanted to do a lot of stuff because he wanted to break free too.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. I don't think he was a fan of genres. Like he wasn't really a fan of, this is what we have to do. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah, because I
was
mean,
like that.
I Want to Break Free is very different from Stone Cold Crazy.
Yeah.
Like very different.
Or Another One Bites the Dust, dude. It's a disco song.
Yeah. Killer Queen.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, Killer Queen. Hell yeah. Kill the Queen. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, pick a different band to tell me you've never heard them before.
Yeah.
Even like the guys that react to the first time hearing Metallica, like unless you're like an embryo, I find that hard to believe. You know?
I went to a metal show.
Oh yeah. Tell us about this.
Went to a metal show Friday night. It was a local metal show. All death metal bands. Not deathcore, not metalcore, just death metal bands. And they were all local. And I'll be honest with you, it warmed my heart. You know, it was very, very cool. And we went to see my wife's best friend's son, Gage. His band's called Blood Clot. And I want to take this second and say anybody out there listening right now, say you're 18 to 30 years old. Are you a drummer? Do you like death metal? This band needs a drummer bad. They went up there with a backing drum track on stage in front of a packed place. And they brought the goddamn place down with a drum track. Right? And I'm sitting there, and I'll be honest with you, when I didn't know that until right before they went up, because they backlined a couple things up there, some amps, a little bit of a drum kit, all this. And I kept making a comment. I'm like, Jesus Christ, are they making them haul every single one of these drum kits up and down the stage? And they were telling me, they're like, oh, they don't have a drummer. And I'm like, they don't have a drummer? How's this going to work? And they were like, well, they have a track where they programmed all their drums and then they play to it. And I'm like, oh boy. So I got a little bit of a bad gut feeling, like, oh no, how's this going to go? You know what I mean? And the boys came out on stage and they plugged in, they set up, they tuned, and they had their little thing on there and they hit it, and the sound guy got the drums sounding, pretty good in the speakers, and they just 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, and they're just in. And I'm watching them and I'm thinking, Jesus, that's hunger. That's somebody who's hungry for it. And I for those of you guys out there that might not be musicians, if you're in a local scene and you're trying to jam, you're trying to go and do this, there is a difference between someone who has the drive and someone who does not. And I will say, going up there with a fucking drum backing track says a lot.
Yeah.
It says that I don't give a fuck about our setbacks. We're going up here to throw down, and they fucking did.
Well, not only that, I mean, think about the talent at that point. I mean, the drum machine's going to be perfect every time.
Yeah.
They
never missed. I was watching them like you guys know how I am. I was watching them like a fucking hawk. I was watching their fingers. I was watching their hits. I was watching everything. And the guitar players, Gage and the other boy, I didn't get to meet him. I didn't see him when it was all done. But those two guys and the bassist were just on point. The new singer they just got, he sounds like Corpse Grinder.
Nice.
And I am not even kidding. This kid nails it. He killed it. Killed it. I got to talk to him for a minute. And I got to talk to Gage himself for a minute. And yeah, if anybody gets a chance in this area to get out there and see Blood Clot play, you really should. If you want to see some boys that truly want it bad, and if you're a drummer and you're looking for a band that's not fucking around, please reach out to the show here, and I will put you in contact with them because I want to see these guys with a drummer. I made the comment to Gage and his singer when we were there. I said, boys, I'm going to start working on finding you a drummer. I think I might have one lined up. I don't know. I'm going to talk to him hopefully this week. And I said, if you guys went up there, they had the crowd. The crowd was going ape shit for these guys. I said, if you got this kind of reaction with a backing track, they're going to need ambulances to get people out of here when there's a drummer up there.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It was really cool. It warmed my heart, and the scene is very much alive. Very much alive. And that made me feel really good too. They had it was like $10 at the door, and people were just coming through the door. Seeing the mosh pits go, that was awesome. You know, these kids out there just throwing shit. And then in true metal form, a guy falls down, 5 guys pick him up.
Fuck yeah.
And dust him off and get him back up again, and they're back in it. And
mosh pit etiquette is a real thing.
it is.
And I'm glad to see that it's standing up, because there for a while it was every man for himself, knocking people down and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that it's coming back.
It was very cool. Very, very cool. I had to explain the mosh pit a little bit to my own kids because they've never been in one, you know. And they were like, that seems kind of crazy, you know. These guys are out there just beating the crap out of each other, you know. Why do they want to hurt each other? And I was like, yeah, you got to understand that you're a younger guy. You're growing up. You're in this group full of your kindred spirits. And all of you are frustrated about something. Something in life is not working for you. You got one place where there's loud ass music going, and it's basically telling you it's okay to let loose right now. Go for it. Just turn it loose, dude. Let it out. Yeah. And at the end, man, they're all patting each other on the backs, dude. They're hugging, they're laughing. It's a beautiful thing to see, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be scary to bystanders. Bystanders,
they don't understand. Yeah, the people that don't understand. I tell you something else too. It's like that's the only place where metalheads can actually feel like themselves too.
Yeah,
because you think like if you grew up before us in the 80s, where you were in high school in the 80s, then you had all kinds of people that were into metal music, and it was a different scene, so it was really popular then. But like in our era and newer or younger, it's diluted. Like you might be the one of 5 metalheads in your class or something, or in your neighborhood. And, then you go to one of these metal shows and there's thousands of you, thousands of like-minded people, some people even wearing the same shirt as you and shit,
Yep.
And it's like, I'm home. I mean, that's how I always felt, because I grew up out here in the country, and I was a very odd duck kind of where I was sitting, being a metalhead, luckily Dave moved in down the road, so I had that,
Yeah.
But for the most part, like him and I were really the only metalheads in the area. Everybody would listen to some Metallica on the radio or something, your bro metal stuff. But like him and I were the only ones that were jamming like to Napalm Records stuff,
Yeah.
And then you go to a show and you're like, there's more of us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all around here. Like, where the fuck did all these people come from? You see 15,000 people in black t-shirts in August,
And I mean, when me and Tyler were meeting you guys at the Mastodon show in Gajira, we were walking through and we're like, "Yeah, I wonder where them guys are." And we made the joke. We're like, "Well, we'll just look for the bearded guys wearing black." And we were kind of laughing about it because we were like looking around,
Right.
like, "Well, we might need to narrow this down a little bit." Yeah,
Right.
that's
I know it
one
was.
thing though, man. Is that we really do, like, if all of us go to a metal show, we just like vanish into the crowd. Like, you just can't tell who's who anymore.
Yeah, you become the gray man. Yeah, I was really impressed that you met up with Bill. Like he found you guys
Yeah.
before me. I thought that was really cool.
That shit was
But-
hilarious.
But I did give a very good description
Yeah,
of Bill. And for the listeners, the Bill is a significant person for Rector.
yeah,
He's our artist.
yeah.
So he's done all the art for the Rector stuff. But yeah, I what did I say? He was like a tall Gimli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he came right up to us.
Yeah.
He's like, "You guys, you must be Denny and Tyler." Me and Tyler, like, yes,
We must
we
be.
are. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny when our buddy Derek came running through and
Mhm.
he's like, "Fucking Rector!" We're like, "Oh my god, dude, this dude."
Yeah.
I actually thought I'd run into him Friday night, but I didn't. I really, I thought he would be there, but I know he gets that. He gets out there, man. He supports, but
He's big time in the scene.
you can't beat all of them, I guess,
Right.
or he was probably there and I just didn't see him because of the blending into the,
Right. Long hair and black clothes. Yeah.
yeah. But I wanted to make sure I said something about that on this episode because it was really fucking cool. And I told Gage, I was like, "I'm so fucking proud of you. Like, holy shit. Like, I can't say it enough, The dude is coming from my background, like I'm sitting there watching him and I'm like, I know exactly what he feels right now.
Yeah.
And he was killing it, man. He was fucking killing it. And he's fast as shit. Like, he got fast. And I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of the scene. I saw a lot of it. I saw enough of it to give me a bad taste in my mouth, but to see a pure death metal show just pop up like that and see the amount of support that came out for that show, awesome.
Yeah.
You guys out there that came to that show and were playing in that show, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're the only fucking hope.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there is an underground scene that's still hanging on. Yeah. I sent you guys that video. Those were kids from the same high school as my kid, and they're American hardcore punk. And I'm watching this, and it's a 2-piece band, no bass player, just a guy playing guitar and singing, and a drummer. And I'm like, all right, there's like 3 people right at the front of the stage. Like, these guys are playing like there's 1,000 people here. And then the camera pans, and there's like 60 kids in this fucking underground club.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude. That's what it was like Friday night, dude. It was like,
that is so awesome, man.
I know that second room at the Revival House, I know that they had to be at capacity at least for a while.
Yeah.
Because it was.
No, the second room, is that the smaller one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that's upstairs.
Go upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was pretty cool, man. My only regret was I didn't really know what to expect, going to it. I didn't know what it was going to be. I really feel like I should have like aggravated you guys to be there, to come to it. I should have. I regret that. I should have sat there and aggravated you, like, come on, dude, come down. You know what I mean? I just didn't know what to expect. And when I got there, I was like, okay, all right. So I was like, next time I'm going to try to talk everybody into going, because it was worth the $10 at the door, man. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they sounded good. All of them, all the bands that played sounded fucking great. They were doing it, man. I recognized some. There was one from Monsterpiece. Can't remember the name of them. Yeah, the bass player has it looks like a Fender Jaguar bass, but it's a 6-string bass.
Oh, Blood something.
Yeah, Bloodgate.
Bloodgate. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they might have changed their name. because I don't know. I didn't see Bloodgate on the bill. I think they called themselves Dissected Remains at this bill,
Okay.
which was pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah. They might have had a lineup change or something. Maybe they,
yeah.
or maybe the bass player switched bands or something.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's probably likely. Yeah, they
Yeah.
sounded great. They were killing it. They had like a punk metal kind of feel to them.
Was there a very large bald drummer?
No, he's like a
Then the bass player switched bands.
okay, yeah.
Because they had the what was it like was it Napalm Death that had the really large bald drummer that like moved way too fast for his appearance.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, that's who he reminded me of. That's who he
I
played
think
like
it was
too.
the bass player that was kind of large.
And what?
Napalm Death.
Okay, then I'm thinking a different band then.
Because he had the hair like the guy. What the heck's that one? The one grudge band. He had that big like hair.
It might
He was
be Demue's drummer that I'm thinking of. It might be Demue because one of them, the drummer he was a very large man and he bald, and he was one of those drummers where like his shoulders wouldn't move, but his forearms would, and it was like flying through the toms, you know.
it sounds like I'm looking it up here. It looks like Cradle of Filth drummer Nicholas Barker. Did he retire? So this is a big dude, and it looks like he had kidney failure.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
No, it's Demue. Yeah, he was in. Yeah, Nicholas Barker. He was in Demue.
Yeah.
Also.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally told Gage though that when the time comes, I was like, yeah, you guys. I was like, when we're ready to do it, I was like, need to stick Rector on one of these bills with you guys. And he's like, he literally had no idea. He's like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's just, this band we're putting together. We're working on it. We're trying to fine tune it. I was like, but I was like, I really feel like you boys will appreciate some of these riffs, And he's like, dude. I'm like, yeah. I was like, you just got to go easy on us, and help us load in and stuff because we're senior citizens.
Yeah, that's the fucking worst part now. I was in my 20s rolling in a full stack like mine and the other guitar players, and then an Ampeg 410, and then all that, 16-piece drum set and all that shit. No big deal,
Yeah.
But now it's like,
yeah,
this shit's heavy.
Cat's best friend Vicky, she goes, Denny, does this make you feel old? I'm like, yes, it does. And she's like, yeah, that was you. That was what you did, And I was like, yeah. I was like, fucking. I was Gage's sister was there, and she's like, why do you feel old? You're not old. And all this. I'm like, well, you see all that stuff that they got up on stage there? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, see, that's a young man's game. That's a younger man's game right there. Loading all that stuff in is where that would be right about where I'm like, I feel it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where, and if you're like hosting the show and you're bringing the PA, that's even worse.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm looking at in this room right here. It's like you might as well tell me I got to sell my house and move. If I've got to empty this room, it's at that point, what I mean.
Go to do the show and you just never come back.
Right, I just live here now. I live here now, guys.
I'll just buy new shit, have it delivered to the house.
It was fun.
You'd hire a local moving company just to put your shit in and out of your house and into the show.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll pay you extra if you just stay there or come back later.
Yeah.
And then pick the shit up.
Yeah. I had a questionable ethic back then when it came to the live thing too. Like I loved playing live. I just hated the load in and load out.
Yeah.
So you would know as I went, man, my setups got more and more simple, and I started cutting out stuff, and
okay. So the other thing too is like you start realizing why some of the older cats that would play like the blues shows would show up with a Fender Twin combo.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I just did. Yeah.
Did he freeze?
I don't know.
It sure looks like he froze.
It looks like it.
But yeah, it's like you understand why those guys
Yeah.
are like
They
a
would bring
Fender,
combo amps because it was easier.
a super super light Fender Stratocaster, one single cord and a 112 combo, and they're like, make the PA do the work.
They were way ahead of the fucking
Yeah,
curve on that one. Yeah.
because
There he went. Yeah, man. It was a good time. I was
wish
very, very happy.
I wish I would have knew ahead of time, man. I would have loved to just go to a show that wasn't,
Yeah.
a national act. I haven't been to a show in a while. I know one of the guests, he wrote a letter onto the show, is also a musician, and he's been after me about trying to get on and come to a show. And it's like every time he plans a show, something has happened, and there's a reason why I can't go. Wow, he's even froze coming back in.
Yeah, he is.
This feels weird having me at the top.
Yep, there he is.
You seem shorter now. Oh, never mind.
WB.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good time, man. I had a blast. I'm really proud of Gage and seeing his band play. Again, drummers out there, I know you're out there. I know you want to join a band that they're not fucking around. They're ready. You need to get a hold of me. You need to, you know the email address. Email the show, leave a comment, something like that. Let me know, and I'll put you in touch.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can play fast, because these guys are fucking fast. Yeah. It was pretty fucking awesome.
That would be interesting to have us up there as a polar opposite band, because we don't play fast.
Yeah. It would I know. Okay, so during all the fast stuff at the show, it was like the mosh pit would go wild, but the breakdown stuff, when it would go halftime, people went nuts, and it was awesome. I was enjoying it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of these days we'll have to see what it looks like from the stage.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to tell you guys about something that happened to me. I was removed from another Bigfoot group on Facebook. I can't remember the name of the group now, because once it kicked me out, I was like, yeah.
For real?
Me.
No way.
Yeah.
That must have been a glitch.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was a misunderstanding, because somebody said something along the lines of like, how many people believe in Bigfoot, and have you ever seen one? And then there was like 300 comments on it, right? Everybody's seen one. And I was like, I commented, and I was like, wow, look at all these people that spotted him. I was like, guess he's not that rare after all. Because I mean, everybody's seen him.
Right.
And it was like 20 minutes later, I saw that I was removed from the group. I'm like, oh, really? Like, come on, man. It's like, I just pointed out an observation. It's not like I even got on there and said anything, hateful towards the community. I just said, like, there's 300 people commenting here, and they've all seen him, so he can't be that rare.
Right. Fucking weird, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of one of those
That's the
oxymorons.
thing. That's the thing about those Bigfoot groups, is there's thousands of members and everybody's seen him.
Yeah. Nobody's got a picture, though. It's tough break there.
Right.
He's just that good at dodging that shit.
I feel like we've gotten into this this topic so many times. I feel like this is like the basis of the show was the big guy, but after spending multiple years listening at this, like it has to, like we all came into this on the fence. Like we had real core beliefs that like it could happen. It could happen. we've seen stranger shit out there. But now it's starting to say, is this a true
Yeah.
the only way it could be now, to me personally, this is how I feel over the years. I'm starting to feel over the years is that it has to be something more like, I guess you would say, spiritual. And I don't know if I believe in that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, like, think about like all the shit the shit
There he
you see.
is.
There he is. To me, it's like, think about all the shit you see out of the corner of your eye that isn't there.
Yeah.
It could very well be psychological. You're out in the woods. There's nothing around you for miles.
Yeah.
And let's face it, anybody that's actually spent any time in the woods knows that, like, even the smallest creature can sound like a horse.
That's
Squirrels.
true.
Squirrels sound
like
huge.
Yeah, they sound like a stampede coming through the
Yeah.
leaves.
Squirrels sound huge. Deer running sound like much larger animals.
Yeah.
Even like stray cats, if they're in a leaf bed, are going to sound bigger. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's people are going to believe what they want to believe. People are going to say what they
Sure.
believe.
Yeah.
And if you try to contradict whatever they're saying with any questioning, then they get upset. And as soon as they get upset, I immediately know that this is an emotional response,
Yeah.
not so much a factual response.
Yeah, because you start going in from the realm of probability into the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
And probability, very, very low. Possibility, anything's fucking possible. But is it probable? Can the world produce an upright ape like that? Probably. It probably can. Is it possible to have an ecosystem that can sustain a population of that big of an ape? It's doubtful.
Yeah.
There isn't even that many gorillas in the wild. And that's a big ape.
That's a valid point. What is like the silverback population?
Worldwide, I couldn't tell you offhand.
I'm looking it up because that's what I do.
Yeah, I know it can't be crazy, but I'm sure it's reasonable within the amount of calories out there. You know what I mean? And then too, we had the poaching thing for a while with the silverback, so I'm sure that's still going on.
You're looking at 316,000 Western gorillas and 5,000 Eastern gorillas.
Yeah.
It's not
in the grand scheme of things, it's not a terrible lot.
Right.
Considering that I don't know how to say this without being offensive to those communities, but you're trying to sell the fact. You're trying to sell it as a fact that there's basically millions of these things.
And it's even worse when you talk about mountain gorillas, which would be the big silverback, the one that nobody believed existed. There's 1,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And 460 of them live in one particular national park in Uganda.
Yeah.
So, and we have pictures of them.
Yeah, we have them. People didn't believe in them for 80 years, and they finally got pictures, and now it's a thing.
Yeah.
They were like, this thing that doesn't exist. There's no way. And then it's like, well, we got this film of them, we got this picture of them, and it's clear as day. So it's one of them things.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to hijack this into a Bigfoot episode by any means. I feel like the subject's gotten enough attention, and it is a frustrating topic for me now, because I went into the topic when we started this very even keel, very like, all right, let's find some patterns. I found one weird pattern over a course of like 12 years. And often the most disappointing explanation will be what's going on. And the thing that got me is that there was a giant fact that was left out of my explanation that wasn't done intentionally, but when I went back and I went over the information again, it went like this. I'm reading these patterns. I'm reading these sightings on a public website that anybody can submit a sighting to. So anyone can go in there and say, well, I'm gonna make a sighting similar to this one. I'm gonna create one. And then a guy like me comes along and I put together that, well, this one is a reoccurring. This one happens every so often. Maybe, but the most probable explanation is that someone put those in because the submission itself is not date stamped. They manually enter in the date that they allege that this happened.
And they don't vet this at all.
They don't vet it.
Yeah,
So-
because there's not there like I'm not saying like that organization doesn't have like the means to have somebody go out and investigate right off the rip,
Yeah.
just to make sure that they're telling the truth.
Oh,
And it, like you said, if it was manually put in, this could be an old story that was passed down from people. So how could you actually make
They
sure
could
that
be
it's true?
reporting the same story, but someone had told them a different time period.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's completely nefarious. I'm just saying that it's
yeah.
once
They
the human element is added
Yeah.
to it, it starts to get a little wobbly. And
Yeah.
unfortunately,
always-
without that, there's no control factor to that experiment. So it's void.
I always put it at this is like telephone, that game that you played in school. That's how I always like. Somebody tells one story and then it goes like, oh, I saw Bigfoot, and then next you know it goes all around Bigfoot's flying saucers through the center of the world. That's how we got to here. Like,
Well, that's where they live.
yeah,
In the center of the earth. Silly.
silly
You
goose.
silly goose. Of course, Bigfoot's coming out of the middle of the planet where a bunch of stuff lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know that whole thing. And then when they remove you from a group because you have a polar opposite, approach. And my whole thing was like, not really like to point it out and to put them on the spot. It was more of a like perspective thing. Like, hey, man, there's thousands of you trying to tell me this is a rare, like once in a lifetime sighting, and there's thousands of you that's seen it, allegedly.
Right.
So it can't be both.
Yeah.
And you take just a law of averages of 1,000 to 1 odds. That means that 999 of those people are lying through their fucking teeth. If you apply that,
Yeah.
again, they're going to twist us around and be like, "You calling us fucking liars?" No, I'm not. The odds are. I'm
And
just
then,
observing.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're not lying. They experienced something that was unexplained to them, and it has nothing to do with Bigfoot, even if they were telling the truth of their experience. But it was something totally different. It's just like that whole the term. I can't remember who we were talking to, but they said him and his boy went out, and his boy ran back to the truck because he heard a screech owl. And that was the first time he ever heard that before.
That was on location, Mike, and it was him and his dad, and he was the one that heard it.
So yeah, like that, like that's the type of scenario. Like if you're not used to this, you're going when you're in the unknown, especially in the dark and shit, your mind is going to race and go to the worst assumption because now you're in fight or flight, and most people will take flight.
Yeah.
You just said earlier, you said, Tyler, that you'd almost be willing to lean towards a spiritual type thing of, and that's like, if anybody listens to the show, that's like the one topic that I usually don't really weigh in on is that whole thing, the afterlife, spiritual stuff, all that stuff. In my core belief is that this is a science that we don't understand yet. I don't really think it's metaphysical. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a science there to this. That if there's a such thing as a persisting human consciousness, which there have been interesting things that have happened with that subject, I believe that it's a natural part of science and physics, because at this point in physics, we know that there's fourth dimensions, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and we even have probabilities and equations that can prove these now, which to me, that's the math. That's showing your work. You know what I mean? Like that's not just saying like, oh, dude, there's a portal in the middle of the earth and that's where Bigfoot comes out of with this UFO. No, we have this math, and we have a missing spot here in the middle, and the universe doesn't usually do that. So we start working out the math. How does this fit this other dimension in here? And even getting on and listening to some of the big, some of the famous scientists out there, sit there and talk about, fourth dimensional beings could technically interact with everything here, but we don't have the organs. We don't have the sensory organs to perceive fourth dimensional. So it's not like a make-believe thing. It's just that we're living firmly in the third dimensional world. So we've evolved to be in the third dimensional world. It's not that it's not there. It's that we're just not the right model to see it, to experience it. If seeing it is even how you perceive it, we don't even know. For all we know, our brains don't know how to think outside of the third dimensional world. So they have to rely on mathematics. And then when it comes to the spiritual, like the spiritual side, I look at it like this. Hey, we got two big things here. We have how do you perceive the fourth dimension and up, and we have all this paranormal stuff. And my brain goes, don't those kind of follow the same, rules? You can't really understand it. You can't really see it. Blah, 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 So for me, if you said like, well, maybe the Bigfoot thing is maybe